Back live at Professional Builders Show Village Live on the back porch of the Modern Home here at Show Village at the International Builders Show, Orlando, Florida. Steve Moore from BSB Design. Steve, we've had a rain that happened seconds before we went live.
Nice and steamy.
We had the Homes group here. We had a crowd. We had a lot of activity, and now here we are. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation.
Good to see you. So, your company. Tell the folks a little bit about what you guys do, what you do, and your background.
Our business, we are one of the largest residential architectural firms in the country. We have 11 offices nationwide, and we work with 19 of the top 25 production builders in the United States. And we've been doing it since 1965. So we have been working with home builders through every price range in every state of the country to help them achieve the goal of great housing for our customers.
So design is a word that is used in so many different contexts, so many different ways, from the early draft and the sketch all the way to in the thought and in the mind of a homeowner. How do you bridge the gap between what an architect and builder can do and what a homeowner or a contractor wants to do?
You know, one of the things that architects need to do, we do as a company, is we stay involved the entire process through delivery, especially in the production builder environment. The idea is that once we design it with the help of the builder team, after we're done and we're finished, we explain what we did to the salespeople so they understand those special features that the builder included as part of the design process. So it's a constant loop of designing, improving, changing, designing, improving, and changing all the way through.
So we've heard smart house, we've heard connected house. Mm-hmm. This is a new one.
Thoughtful house.
Thoughtful house.
Yes. We believe very strongly that our houses should predict how people want to live. The idea that instead of us moving into a house and having to deal with it and make adjustments to the house, we want the house to adjust to them. So in terms of trying to understand the way humans live, the way families want to live and connect, we try to predict those behaviors ahead of time and then design the house such that it can anticipate that, so that all of a sudden you just forget about how the house works. I mean, the house should be easy to live in, it should be relaxing to live in, and it should actually renew your spirit. So when you come home at the end of a hard day, is it hard for you to deal with calming down and relaxing after a traffic jam like you're in Orlando?
Right.
Or when you're up in the morning, do you have to fight for your sink with your spouse because you want to go out? So all these little design tricks all the way through. Sorry to hear. We could help that out.
I thought that was a question.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. The idea that when you come home from the warehouse shopping center and you've got 30 pounds of stuff, how do you get that in the house and what do you do with it? Do you want to traipse it all the way through the house? Well, we can design it so that you take it from the garage and you put it in the closet that's right off the garage, so all you have to do is move it 8 feet. That's thoughtful design that anticipates how we make your life easier.
And where does that thoughtful design start? Who's the one that's making that?
The really fun thing about thoughtful design is really taking a step back and looking at all the signs around us about trends and trying to read between the lines on stories in the newspaper and the magazines. We are constantly filtering any kind of information we can about human behavior, neuroscience, things that understand, like Mr. Holmes talked about healthy houses. We try to anticipate all that stuff and be ahead of the curve, anticipating where humans are, where families are.
But that sounds so next level, next generation, that you're thinking about what people are thinking to design something, as opposed to, hey, this looks pretty, or this works in this function. Are you making it too hard?
You know, we liken it to how Steve Jobs invented the iPhone and the iPad. There was no market for that. He anticipated what people needed and created a product around it. That's exactly what we're doing, is we're trying to anticipate, knowing how you like to get up and move around the house during the day, and say, can we position rooms in certain ways so that you are going to be comfortable and happy? That thinking is really, it's a matter of taking more time ahead of time, so that when it comes down to you, you look at this house and you go, you know what? They designed this for me. And in the production builder environment, we're doing that 100,000 times a year. That's what our goal is.
It's an interesting position that you're in right now, because you have to design for so many different segments.
Yes.
On opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
You are designing for millennials and you're designing for boomers.
Yes.
Is there anything in between there?
You know,
and how do you do it?
The cool part is we've discovered through surveys and focus groups that there's a group of houses that appeal to both boomers and millennials. The idea that what the boomer wants after getting rid of all their children and trying to relax and turn their life down a little bit, if you will, matches up with the millennial just getting started. So the idea of relaxed living, lock and leave, living in a place where it's a large open space that doesn't require any maintenance, where they can entertain a great deal, those two groups are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So we have a market, we have one particular spot where a builder is building the exact same house, exact same square footage, two different markets, this totally different prices, so it's the same floor plan, but the marketing says for the boomer, it's how close are we out are to Mayo Clinic and the golf course.
Right.
And the millennial is how close are we to schools and shopping and parks. Same house.
Same house, just different needs.
Different needs, different
for
places,
different groups.
different location that appeals to that particular user.
Now, there's something else, multi-generational.
20%.
What does that even mean?
20%. It means 3 generations in one house. In 1951, we were at 21% of households in America were multi-generational. It slipped, and we are now back at 20% now in this day and age. Part of it's the economy.
Right.
Part of it's we have a larger influx of ethnicities, families that are familiar with that style of living, and we're seeing that response. So what that means is we have to figure out a way to create a house that gives people dignity and allows them to live together, but at the same time allows them to live apart when families going to get those kind of opportunities, so that the mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, and children, and those boomerang children we talked about a few years ago, thanks to the economy, they're coming back and living, and they're choosing to stay in the house.
Is there something to be said that because those designs are happening, those trends are happening in construction, that's just going to continue, those multi-generational families and homes are going to continue because now people are building them and say, oh great, I'll just live with my kids and my grandkids when that day comes.
We believe that is going to continue, yes, for a couple of different reasons. One, the economy alone. The boomer generation has the largest amount of wealth, and their children are behind the sequence of transition. So, if they can help their kids, they will. And one way of doing it is if they have an apartment that's attached to their house, where they can live and disappear, and they help their kids financially, that's one way of doing a multi-generational house. Another one, we're finding a lot of the parents, boomer parents, like their children, and their children like their parents. So we're seeing a desire to live together because they love that grandfather, grandmother, child, grandchild relationship. It's fascinating.
It's fascinating. All of it is. And what you have to do, how you have to think ahead, you have to think in the past, you have to think now. Yeah. The work you're putting in is incredible. Steve Moore, BSB Design, thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you.